Hi guys, Nada here, and today I'm going to talk about the first RTX supercards that we got here in the office with custom cooling. So we have here the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 2060 Super Gaming OC as well as the 2070 Super Gaming OC. Now, in theory, these cards are supposed to have a little performance boost over the Founders Edition reference card, and unlike their Aorus Super RGB cousin, these are supposed to be reasonably priced. Now, that is very, very important. Now that Nvidia actually has some competition, pricing is going to be crucial when choosing your next graphics card. So let's put these guys to the test and see how they actually perform. This video is brought to you by the Cooler Master Masterbox NR400, a quality micro ATX case that offers great performance and a sleek design at a very decent price. Get yours using the links in the description below. From a design perspective, nothing has really changed. Gigabyte has obviously reused the designs from previous generation, and it is hard to blame them for that. The 3-fan design looks very decent, the color scheme is easy to match with most motherboards and cases, and the inclusion of a metal backplate is a good thing. Unlike some competitors, the Gaming OC is not much deeper than the expansion slot, and that is a bonus for some cases where deeper models just won't fit. Previously, the 2060 and the 2070 Gaming OC were both 2-slot cards, but it is worth noting that the RTX 2070 Super Gaming OC is now a beefier 2.5 slotter. That is because they used the cooling solution from their RTX 2080 card, which is not strange because the 2070 Super uses the same chip as the RTX 2080. But let's talk about what you care about the most: performance. The RTX 2070 Super Founders Edition was a nice boost from the RTX 2070 and generally outperforms the cheaper RX 5700 XT. Gigabyte's RTX 2070 Super Gaming OC clocks at 1965 MHz average, which makes it about 5% faster in games than the Founders Edition, and that is a decent overclock. Like the previous 2070 card, it is fair to call the RTX 2070 Super a great card for AAA games on Quad HD monitors with high graphic quality settings. The same goes for the RTX 2060 Super Gaming OC, which clocks at 1950 MHz average, and we see a similar roughly 5% increase here, making it faster than the RX 5700 in average, with a couple of games clearly favoring AMD or Nvidia. So, as I said in my RX 5700 review, if you play one particular game, it is always worth checking benchmarks. I still think the RTX 2060 Super is best seen as a Full HD card for ultra settings or super high refresh rates, but with the performance increase, it is actually a very decent entry-level Quad HD card as well. Comparing to the MSI's RTX 2070 Super Gaming X Trio and the RTX 2060 Super Gaming X, we see the Gigabyte cards hold out well. Average boost speeds are competitive, and it is important to remember that these vary per sample, so we don't usually judge cards based on whether they have 10 MHz more or less. When it comes to thermals, it is not surprising to see that the more expensive and significantly larger Gaming X Trio does look a bit more efficient. But 37.2 decibels at 50 centimeters distance on an open bench is very little, and we can comfortably call this a very quiet RTX 2070 Super. And quiet cards like this show us why, if you're looking for the AMD's counterpart, you should probably wait for a third-party cooler. Now, with the RTX 2060 Super, the roles are reversed, as the Gaming OC has a larger heatsink and an extra fan than the MSI Gaming X card. At similar temperatures and power consumption, Gigabyte's card is a bit quieter. Now, these are probably differences you're not going to experience in normal use, but we can also say that for the gaps that the RTX 2070 Super cards have as well. It is important to say that the Gigabyte 2070 Super actually comes with an extended year of warranty, so you get 4 years of warranty instead of 3 if you register your product within 30 days of purchase, and that is a great extra, especially when you spend so much money on a graphics card to begin with. Sadly, the 2060 Super doesn't have that. So overall, I can say about these cards what I would say pretty much about their predecessors as well. They overclock themselves nicely, they stay quiet enough, they stay cool enough, and they're gonna look pretty good in most of the systems out there. They're not RGB crazy like some of their competitors, but they aim at a lower price point, and you cannot really argue with that. Now, Nvidia has to deal with AMD now as well, and that puts these cards in a very difficult position because they are quite faster than their previous RTX cards, and they're slightly faster than the new Radeon RX cards, but they're also a lot more expensive. Looking at the prices that I've heard so far, it looks like a fancy RTX 2060 Super like this might end up costing more than an RX 5700 XT, and that will be a hard sell. Now, of course, street pricing will end up being a bit lower, but these numbers put a lot of pressure on Nvidia nonetheless. Now, Nvidia does have a few tricks up their sleeves, and one of them is still ray tracing. I'm not as convinced about spending so much more on a card because of ray tracing, because there is still only a handful of games that support it. But I do have to say that I'm personally very excited about Cyberpunk 2077, which will support ray tracing. Now, the second trick is definitely important for the streamers out there because of Nvidia's NVENC encoder, which is going to give you a better streaming quality without losing performance in your game if you don't have a high-end processor, which is great for starting streamers. At the end of the day, these Gigabyte RTX supercards are quite compelling. They overclock themselves nicely, they stay cool enough, they stay quiet enough, and they're going to be on an affordable part of the RTX super spectrum. But the big question is, how much will the third-party versions of the new AMD cards cost? Because ultimately, those are going to decide if these cards are good value or not. But unfortunately, we will have to wait till August to answer that question. Now, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what do you think about these cards and about this review. Don't forget to subscribe, give me thumbs up, and yeah, see you in the next one. Bye!